Hey guys, it's Marvin Ambrosius here for another Fit in 5 podcast, but with a difference. This podcast show is more about a celebration of not just people within the fitness industry. This is about people that have gone above and beyond, and I like to call this the Fit in 5 Champions Edition. So it's going to be longer than 5 minutes, and I have got Lavina Mehta, who is an MBE. I'm going to put that next to her name now. She's got the letters, and just going to introduce her now. And tell us a bit about yourself, because I know I could say so much, but please tell us about yourself.
Wow, thank you, Marvin. Oh, I'm really honored and thank you so much for having me. I am a mum of three. I'm a personal trainer that's actually only been doing this for about 3 years, is when I requalified after a corporate background. And yeah, I'm basically specializing now, I guess, in helping all ages feel good physically and mentally. I'm the founder of Feel Good with Lavina. And yeah, we will talk a little bit more, but the last year has been quite a life-changing year. So can't wait to get into it with you.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And I really appreciate you and everything that you've done. And when I came across your achievements and what you've done, one of the things that grabbed me the most wasn't necessarily the age group and the demographic that you went towards. It was the background that you came from. So we're very similar. Like, I didn't start in fitness. I was in corporate background and was overweight and lost weight, but then translated that skill to wanting to help others. I want to know about that transference from your corporate background to then going into fitness. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, I actually said recently on an interview that I was the one that used to be at school and probably forge the PE notes because I actually wasn't very sporty. I did just tick all the boxes at school. You know, I love netball and some of the sports, but a lot of them I was, let's just say, not like a child that has grown up with fitness or exercise built in me. And I basically became a global project manager. So I was working really hard for a large corporate. It was BP was my last role. I was doing a lot of traveling. I became a young mom and I then thought to go part-time, but it was such a big role managing teams globally that after I had my third son, which is 13 years ago.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I decided to give it up, even though it was something I absolutely loved. So I gave up my corporate career and just focused on the children, basically got them all into, like secondary schools. And then my little one joined kindergarten. And I thought it's about time I better sort myself out because I'm a big foodie.
Yeah. Okay.
And my mum is, you can see her book in the background, Feel Good with Food, which is where my whole brand really originates from. But my mum is an amazing cookery writer and chef. So we've grown up with a real passion for food. So the word diet doesn't come anywhere in my vocabulary. But yeah, we self-published that last book. So I helped mum and she did a lot of science around food, antioxidants, superfoods. She's a biochemist.
Wow.
And typed it up while I was pregnant with my youngest.
Wow.
Yeah, it's given me a really good insight into, why nutrition plays such a big part. And, I'm all about trying to reduce risks of chronic illnesses, and food plays such a huge part in that as well. So I did do that. I managed to, help mum get another book out, which is her legacy now. And then I went on my own fitness journey because I had been eating for two for not only the pregnancy and the time that I breastfed, which was 18 months, but even after that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I love food, but my husband also joined me on that pregnancy journey. So we had both got into quite a big shape.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Trust me.
Sympathy pregnancy. So we were both thinking we need to do something. And I just joined a gym when I dropped my little one off to kindergarten. And I was a normal gym mum, just went to a class, but probably spent more time talking, having coffee mornings. And then I just looked around the gym and I thought, let me just invest in my own personal trainer. And he was incredible. He was very militant, but I had never, ever lifted weights before. And
Okay.
I got into the world of strength training. And little old me, you probably see now, you know, on my Instagram that I love lifting heavy weights, but it's been a real journey. But what I found is the fact that during, you know, some of the tough periods in our lives, that we all have times that are stressful. I've had obviously lost my father-in-law during the last decade. So those stressful times, I used to use the gym more as my outlet. And although, yes, physically I was getting incredible results, it was more what it was doing for my mental health. And yeah, I just thought, wow, this is incredible what it's doing. So I just very quietly, without telling anyone, decided to do a level 2 fitness instructing course in the evenings, just a home study course. Just told my kids and my parents, and absolutely loved it. I never ever thought I would like doing exams again.
Wow. I think when you're learning on the go and you're learning through practicality as well, and it's funny how you actually paired what your mother does to what you do now. Even though you were typing, helping your mother write this book, essentially you were being educated at the same time about these great foods you've been digesting all these years, and you figured out the whys. But then as you started training, I'm figuring out that you saw the pair, the match, what makes us whole and what makes us feel great. Is that where did that come into it? Where did you go, light bulb moment? This is what life's about.
Yeah, literally exactly what you said. It's, you know, like it all comes together and you just think, wow, I'm actually doing something that makes me feel good. You know, and that's the whole thing, is I want people to feel good physically and mentally. I want it to be a lifestyle change. I'm not about quick transformations. I've got hundreds on my website of, you know, ladies that I've trained when I was doing one-to-one PT before COVID pandemic. But for me, it is more about things that we can really build into the long term, and all the benefits of exercise in reducing chronic illnesses, from everything from type 2 diabetes to heart disease to osteoporosis. And I work a lot in dementia as well. But yeah, the light bulb moment was definitely there. And I loved studying in the evenings and learning about why this, you know, this magic is happening to me. And I then did the level 3 personal training as well, without telling many people, but
You just kept it to yourself.
I kept it to myself. And I literally, people would ask me, oh, what box set are you watching? And I feel like I don't watch TV anymore, because I would just put the kids to sleep, get the kitchen done, and just sit there. And I loved it. I was so excited to learn something that I loved doing in the gym. And just before I qualified, some people found out, some ladies, and it kind of got spiraled into this excitement of someone asked me, would you just train me one-to-one? And I thought, let me qualify. But yeah, it's something I never imagined. I'm blessed that we had a little gym in our home, and I just, I got it fully insured, and I said to my husband, let me just give it a go. The demand, Marvin, was insane, because
Yeah.
people aren't used to having maybe a female, a mom. I'm in my 40s, someone that they can go to where there's not a public gym, where they may feel conscious. I had just women, and I had amazing clientele from like age 30 to 70. So it was sometimes weight loss, but I say it's not always weight loss, which is the goal. I've had menopausal women. I've had, women that are trying to lose their pregnancy weight. I've had older women that had osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, and we've managed to reverse
Reverse
that.
it. Yeah.
I mean, it's just so, I loved what I did. So from the moment I dropped my son to school to the moment I picked them up, I would just get in as many ladies as I could. And I think what you asked about the corporate background was because I was a project manager and I was very, very thorough in my old corporate role. I mean, really like OCD about all my planning, that I did the same for my clients. And I think that, I spent the evenings just writing tailor-made individual plans. It was so well thought out that, yes, the results, I mean, touch wood, they were incredible. So they're all on my website, for people to see people's journeys, as I call them. And then in actually 2019. So I'd done it about 2 years. In December 2019, I just got a massive break and I got onto Sky News TV. And it was actually when they picked up on my crazy fitness advent calendar, my exercise snacking concept.
Mm.
And I literally, I was very new to Instagram. I still feel myself just learning the ropes. I'm
I
not
still
young.
feel like that now. Don't worry. I've been on it for a while and I feel like I've been outaged. I don't know what it is. I just like, I still connect with it, but a part of me doesn't. So I'm kind of like still trying to get myself there. So I know what you mean.
Well, I need some tips from you. I love all your flashy, emojis and everything. Look at the way you've got it laid out, even your podcast, you've done
Oh,
them.
I'll give you all of those tips. Don't worry. I love to help other people rather than going through all the things that I go through to try and get there. I'm happy to give the information. So like a lot of people don't do that. But something you said's really stuck with me. And it's that transference between when you get to the point of understanding how to help a client. There's something that a lot of people that outside the personal training world don't understand is we can give you everything you need and motivate you and inspire you. And this is why I wanted to talk to you, because this is why I know you're great at what you do. But they don't have to do it.
No.
But this is where you have a gift. And this is where I say some people, we all understand the principles of exercise when we get educated on our level 2 and level 3 and even go beyond that. But what we don't get educated towards is motivation.
Mm.
Motivation isn't something that you can teach. And that is why selectively I'm like, I watch what people do, I see what people do like yourself, and when I see there's certain triggers that I see where I go, they've got it, and they're like, what do you mean? And people ask, what do you mean by that? I'm like, no, there's a thing that they have that they couldn't get an apprentice to teach. They'd have to see that in someone else for them to come on board. And I want to know, just from hearing what you said about your mother and how she's nurturing, and I'm coming from a very food home background as well. Like food is massively a part of my life, but I can tell that yeah, you were nurtured in a way where it was always love, but it was always taught that it was respectability to yourself. Do you feel like you've taken a lot of things, spirit from your mother and your family into your training?
Oh, totally. I mean, I would love you to meet my mom. She is going to be 75 in June, and she is just so passionate. You know how I talk about exercise and I can feel goosebumps, while we're speaking. She does that with food. And she has always invested, in just me and my brother. There's only two of us. But she's given us that sort of passion, that drive. They sacrificed everything for our education. They came over in the 60s, my parents, so they started
Okay.
from scratch, like a lot of South Asian generation that have come over to the UK. And that's the thing about social media, that you can just paint this picture, what people see of Lavina and what I've got now. But I have seen my parents go through, nearly beg, borrow everything for our education, for our
Yeah.
upbringing. They work so, so hard. So I have to instill that in my children, because they're
Yeah.
the next generation and they're very blessed. They've got so much. But my brother and I, like, we were in a very humble background. I think that plays a big part. So that's, our upbringing and our values, and how they've sort of helped us become successful in our own right. So yeah, my mum and my dad, obviously my dad didn't get a lot of time to spend with us because he was working so hard, just to afford everything and keep the roof over our heads.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I started work when I was 16. I had a retail job at the weekends. I actually worked in Selfridges, which I absolutely love now, but I never ever bought myself a designer anything.
Wow.
All the staff discount I got would be
You
home
never.
appliances. Yeah, it would be like my mum saying, the dishwasher's broken, can we use your discount to get a new dishwasher?
Wow. But then that just goes to show you that the family environment that you were in, you realize the bigger picture. Ultimately, it's about family. And when you have your own, you realize that I need to do what I can, not just to provide, but to install those values. because to each generation, we're actually essentially trying to make life easier. But really, by making it easier, we kind of lose that graft, and
Yeah,
we lose that appreciation for things don't just come to you. You have
no,
to go and get them. And I think that kind of line and that balance is so hard to get, especially now with children. Like my son's 17 next month, but he gets the grind because I was 23 when we had him, and my wife was like 25. And
yeah,
I remember, like, if he sees me graft and struggle, it only means that he's going to understand that you can't get anything without working hard. And luckily, he has that. He's got
yeah.
it. And I think it's really important that that's translating to your work. And I think that's exactly what you've done. You've seen your parents forfeit things that they might have had certain dreams of themselves, and your dad had certain dreams, but it's like, no, we've got to do it for the kids, we've got to do it for the kids. And your mum's like, she has her dreams and what she's doing, but ultimately her dreams came through their children.
Amazing. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I'm blessed, that they're both safe through the pandemic. And, I feel like now they've had that proud moment of their daughter, getting there, but they're here to share it with me. So I've got two men now as well. My older two are, like they're over the age of 18. So like similar to yours. And it's important, I think, even now, because I could have easily just not worked. My
yeah,
husband could have provided for me, and there was never even a discussion about me having another career in the last decade. I've just found something that I love, and yes, the children see mum doing what she loves now. Like, I don't even call it work as such, but they can see, I'm working 24/7 around everything with them. I do the school pickups, I do the drop offs, I do the activities, I get the food on the table, I do
yeah.
all the stuff I need to do. But they also see that mom has got something that she loves doing, which I think is also important. And it's difficult for women that may have given up their careers for their children. I know a lot of women, that are probably wondering what to do, how to balance it all. I won't say it's been easy. The last year has been, not the typical lockdown. I've obviously been just on the go for the
Yeah,
whole year.
whole
But
time, yeah.
yeah, but I've loved it, and I find it so rewarding. I wouldn't do it unless it was something that I absolutely loved. So yeah, I loved what you said about how you see people, because you see a lot of people that you could easily just get the qualification. But I think it is how, I mean, I hope women find me relatable, which is why I think it helps them that I'm just, what you see is what you get. All the Instagram lives, I will sometimes come on and just say, I did like an advent calendar over December where I came
Yeah,
on for 25 days after doing all the COVID lives and the lockdown lives. And I thought, oh my goodness, there were days where I wasn't feeling it, or I'd be
yeah.
exhausted. There's something going on in the house, and you think, how am I going to go live? And I would come on, and it's been a struggle. I didn't feel very motivated myself. But somehow the minute I start moving and the minute I start giving back, I mean, I honestly feel like it's a power from above. Someone up there's looking after me and just guiding me through this journey. But I absolutely love it. So yeah, that energy just comes somehow.
But again, like you said, it's the rewards to where you're in. It's some, like, that moment where, like you said, you've got to do these lives. I did a lockdown thing, and I did a 35-minute workout every day in December up
Wow.
until
Yeah.
Christmas. And I was exhausted. And I remember going to do it, and sometimes you'd be like, where am I going to get this energy from? I'm really exhausted right now. And then you kind of press the button and you kind of remember your why. And
While
that's
you're
what I
doing
said, there's a why, and it's not about me. And that's why I would say
that.
the best trainers that you'll ever meet are people where it's not about them. It's not about me. It's about, I'm giving this to you because I want you to feel this way. Because
Mhm.
I know what it feels like not to feel great. So I want you to feel great. And I think when people pick that energy up, it kind of gives you more energy to want to give more.
Oh, it's totally, I mean, it's the best circle, you kind of get caught in that. And all it takes for me is I'm actually not about the followers. You know, I obviously use social media. I feel like I'm still learning my way, even technically. You know, I was like uploading a 21-day plan from all the lives I did, and
Yeah.
the first down every night I'd be up till like 2-3 a.m. of like some sort of technical issue that I'm figuring out how to get it up there on Instagram. Social media plays a part, but for me, I think because I'm older, it's not about having thousands of followers. For me, it's about touching individuals' lives. And, you know, on those days where it's just someone will just send me a message that their 83-year-old mum is working out with me, or doing my workouts off YouTube, or I just did a feel good walk, Lavina. I get a lot of people because I do these walks every day,
Yeah.
and I my Instagram story and I said, just go out for a 5-10 minute walk, snack,
Yep.
you know, do my exercise snacks, even if it's 5 minutes. And if one person messages me and says that, I just think,
Buzz.
job done, I'm happy, you know, like it just makes me, it just makes it so rewarding. So I think for me, it's a different thing that I'm like, I like touching individuals' lives. But obviously it's been fantastic. I've had like incredible, like you know, the amount of people that have joined us on Instagram, and then the workouts for seniors. I never imagined we'd have thousands globally joining in. So yeah, you just, I think you kind of sometimes just have to go with the gut.
Yeah.
And there's been moments, you know, I question myself. I used to question myself before, and it was only when I guess things like when I got on Sky and they picked up on these exercise snacks that I took around, like my local Waitrose. I remember doing them at the till, and my little son videoing me getting so embarrassed. And I did them, you know, in the park, I did them in the car. I just said, let me get this little thing out and just make a bit of a fool of myself. I don't really care, but it's more that I want to get the message out that it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to cost anything. It's time, cost, motivation. Let's break it all, those barriers down. It gave me a bit of confidence, I guess, that I'm onto something. But yeah, it's a competitive, challenging space in fitness. But I think the pandemic has, you know, revolutionized the whole industry. Like even in 2019 on Sky News, I said to the presenters then, I said, you know, if you can't afford a gym membership, maybe just start working out from home with some plastic bottles and tins. And they were laughing. And, you know, I watched that back now and I think
It's what's
that's
happening.
exactly what I've been doing.
What's everybody's been doing it. Can of beans. I'm like, you know anything, just like find a bottle of water, get a 2-liter bottle of water. It's
anything, you know, like just make do with what we could. So it's amazing how things have changed, I think, in the space. But it's a love, you know, it's an exciting area to be in, I think.
no, definitely. And honestly, it's so great watching and seeing someone like yourself doing what you're doing. Because I remember like 4 years ago was when I started my first television show with Sky, which was the Fit in 5 show. And then we did 4 series and we did a children's series. And my whole thing was about promoting home workouts with not having the use of any equipment. Because that's how I lost 6 stone. So I was saying to people, you can do this at home. But at the time, it wasn't a popular thing. So
No.
when the pandemic happened, it was like that was forced to the front and everybody's going, these are the best work. But there was 1 million people already using it. And I was thinking, well, this is the future of exercise. However, how do we progress this message to spread it for everybody else? Because I always say there's enough pie for everybody. And in the fitness space, the more choice, the better. But then we always have to navigate to the why. And that's why I say some people do something for the likes, for the dopamine, for that good feeling, but it's about them. So I say you gravitate to the people that you know they're doing it for you. And
Definitely.
and it's so hard though to catch those in between. I can see it from a mile away when I go in line when it's about someone else and when it's about them. You can just see it a mile away. But like you said, we're in a different age bracket in fitness
I
now.
know.
So we're like, I said to
Oh,
someone the other day, I was competing against like a 20-something year old the other day. Someone saying, oh, this person's doing it. I said, well, they're 20 something. Like, like I'm 40, like my son's nearly the same age. Like we aren't even competing in the same thing anymore, because I'm not trying to reach that audience, because that audience isn't going to be relating to me. But the audience that is relatable to me are the ones that have been overweight, that are trying to come back from that. But most
Yeah.
importantly, how do you do it in a way that you can sustain it and you can do it forever? It's not a chore. You enjoy that process and it becomes a part of your lifestyle. Because as you know, just being a trainer now, someone said to you now, I can transform you in 3 months to lose everything and you be this. You can't guarantee them they're not going to put it all back on, because you knew the journey to get there has
Mhm.
to be the right journey in order for them to stay there.
Definitely. Yeah, I think, that's the hard bit, because I often put, even like a few weeks ago on Instagram, I said, are you in that little honeymoon phase where you're thinking about, the UK opening up? So everyone's like, oh God, I'm going to be going out socially. I need to look the part now, lose the lockdown weight. And I said, you may have this honeymoon period, but it's exactly the hard bit, is how you make it sustainable. And it has to be fun, like I
Yep.
say, has to be fun. Just because I love lifting heavy weights doesn't mean that you're going to love it. You've got to find things that you enjoy, which is why, all my workouts I did through the pandemic, like on Instagram, things were, even my seniors, to be fair, I cover sort of the mobility, I cover cardio. So I sometimes add a bit of hit in, but it can be low impact hit
Yeah,
as well.
exactly.
I cover the strength training because I think that's a huge part, especially in the South Asian community, where they didn't know that you should be lifting weights or even using body weight to start off with. They just thought, I'll go for a walk and I'll do my yoga, which is
Yeah.
fantastic. But
Got to increase
people,
that bone density. You've got to get that
yeah,
muscle mass going.
exactly. So, I mean, it's been a really, especially being South Asian, and I've tried to sort of target that community a lot, because not only was I alarmed by diabetes and heart disease and all the extra chronic illnesses that our community have. Just before the pandemic, I raised the Get Asians Fit campaign that I got on press, but then COVID took over, and then
Yeah.
South Asia's disproportionately affected by COVID as well, on top of everything
On top
else.
of that,
So
it's an
yeah,
extra thing on top of being something coming to you. But like you said, it's you were campaigning to something that's within your community as well, which is very high, which is type 2 diabetes is going to be big. Because coming from me, like I would say, obviously different food groups, where you've got Caribbean food, African, Chinese, Indian, they're like the highest fat content food. They're just
yeah,
the fat is just I say to people all the time, you would be amazed at just how high the fat. It's not the sugar, it's the fat.
uh, yeah.
And you can eat it. I say to people, you can eat those foods, but you have to make it work for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah. There's I mean, food is a huge part of the Asian culture, and unfortunately, my parents' generation are very set in their ways, like all the fried food, all the extra sugar, the fat of that. Sometimes going to a community event, it's just all about food, and typical, even I'm the same. When I call friends around, I
food.
feel like
Yeah.
it's offensive if they
Yeah.
leave my house without eating. I've become, just like them. But they haven't realized that there's so much around providing like healthier options. Like, what little tweaks could you make to your diet? It
Exactly.
doesn't all have to be that horrible yellow fried color. It should be a nice couple. There's so many
Colorful
colors.
plates. Colorful
Make
plate.
off a rainbow. They've probably never seen rainbows on their plates. But yeah, I think it's a whole area that I'm very passionate about, helping educate them and just getting them aware that you can actually get incredible health benefits just by doing small changes, small incremental changes that build up.
No, exactly. And I think it's building habits that last a lifetime. What we were saying is the main thing. And that is what I love about your concept, the way you train, your messaging. And it's all about messaging and like what you're putting out there. And it's not just general, it's from experience, it's from teaching, it's from your family, it's from your mum, it's from your parents, it's from your history. You can just see, you can feel and see that. And that's why, honestly, I'm just so happy that you came on the show. Like, thank you so much. And just to say as well, in terms of training, you did mention weights is like your favorite thing to do. Like, you love that more than anything. In fitness, what are the things that you don't like to do that you know that are beneficial?
Um, so I hate running. I
Okay.
absolutely hate running. I'm about to walk a marathon for Alzheimer's Society in like 3 weeks. And
It'll
to
be a
be
long walk.
yeah, I mean, I'm scared even of that because, my feet aren't the greatest with flat feet and a bunion and all the extra bits that
All
you
the
get.
extra things that come with it. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't run. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily beneficial. I did a live workout this morning for my Facebook community, and I literally looked at my tracker and I was like, look at your trackers, ladies, because you are hitting what you would on a run without. Yeah, we are doing just weights, but you're burning fat, but preserving and building lean muscle at the same time.
Exactly.
So, I mean, running, I think, is amazing. I think a lot of people did it over lockdown, and it's amazing if you can run, but I just can't put my 43-year-old joints through it
Yeah,
anymore.
I did last year, and I got really into it, but then got an injury from doing it too much.
Yeah.
And that was the first injury I'd had in probably 8 years. And
Yeah.
one of those things where I was like, it was just from running. So I actually just stopped running because I was like, I've got to this point without having to do it. So I don't hate it, but weights for me is something that I enjoy, but my recovery is just longer. It takes me much longer to recover from weight sessions. So I
Are you,
kind of like,
are you stretching?
I do stretch, but I've got very, very tight. My mobility is awful because when I played basketball when I was younger, I played at a very high level and I stopped for years, put loads of weight on, and it really decreased my mobility. And then now, even now, I'm having to work on my mobility all the time. But whenever I do weight sessions, I'm great. I love it when I'm doing it. But when it comes to recovery,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, it just takes too long. It takes too long for me. I'm like, I've got 2 days of like DOMs that are just not nice DOMs.
No, I know. Well, it's hard when you're waddling around after leg day, but yeah, mobility is key. All my workouts, I cover mobility and obviously stretch. I mean, I do love yoga, and I always bring in, Pilates and yoga principles in as well. I kind of real sort of hybrid. I say my fitness prescription, but
Mm.
there's nothing apart from running that comes to mind. I mean, I don't hit of exercise snacking. I think is effective, but I can also do, very low impact here. I do it with my seniors, the less mobile people and disabled in wheelchairs and things. They literally are doing their star jumps and their high knees all seated.
Yeah.
So I think there's always options. I do love a bit of boxing. That's what I'm missing at the moment. I love that. So I've been doing just shadow boxing in my workouts, and I say to
Got to buy
everyone,
one for the house. Get a bag for the house.
I've got one. I've got one. I actually do like sparring against the pads. So
Ah,
um, waiting to get into actual, contact a little bit. But again, that's something very new. I never ever thought a little of me would be boxing, and I discovered it about a year ago with another trainer. And I thought, just even now when we box, even in my seniors workouts, and I say, just box away all your worries, your tension, your anxiety. It's more the mental health side. And that's
yeah.
why, you were so sweet as well. You shared my slogan, exercise for sanity, not vanity. That has been the key, I think, message I've been trying to get out through the pandemic. And I almost feel now, we're again hitting like a mental health pandemic with
Yeah.
every age group through COVID. And it's going to take a long time, going from kids to adults to people that we've lost. And, it's been so much emotion on all of us. So I think it is very key I'm a big advocate about the mental health benefits of exercise, like you've seen as well, because I know it just boosts my own mood. And even on those days where I don't feel like I can get up and get motivated, if I just do a simple thing like a 5-minute walk out in nature or just fresh air, I'm going to feel so much better. Even if you just do some squats or some star jumps or just something for a minute, you know, you release the endorphins, and it really is like a magic, you know, pill, I think.
It is. You're making
So
me.
yeah,
I can't wait to do my workout because of you today. Now, like I've got it scheduled in, but like it's like you look when you start to look forward to it because you know how it makes you feel. That's when you're onto a winner.
yeah, capture that moment, how you feel at the end compared to the start. And I often say that in all my sessions, even to, I've had like 100-year-old lady join from a care home.
Wow.
And, you know, she obviously couldn't do everything we were doing, like sit and stand. She couldn't get up, but she was going for it. I was giving her leg extensions, or she was just moving her arm. And more than anything, Marvin, it was the smile, the happy,
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
that she's doing something in the home with other people around her or with me on screen, but she's smiling. I was like, incredible. You know, I think any age can benefit, any amount, even if it's a minute of movement, you're going to feel a benefit. So you can hear I'm like on this mission.
I know, I love it. It's brilliant. It's infectious, and that's exactly why the results that you get from the clients, the people that see you, the people that work with you, that's why they get the real results, the lifelong results, because your passion speaks volumes. And honest, and one thing I want to say as well, there's people. Somebody said to me the other day that I do a lot more than what I realize, and I inspire a lot more people than I'll ever know. Now, you are exactly the same. What is it that you want to leave behind to when you want to not give up this job? Because it's a job, it's something that you do, but it's a part of you now. But what is it you want to be remembered for?
Oh my goodness.
A deep question. I know it's quite deep. Like, somebody put
Yeah,
me on the spot the other day, and I was like, "Oh wow!" Like,
get me emotional. I mean, you know, we before we said to you, I never ever imagined I'd be in this position that I'm in. Just, you know, it's been a real life-changing year. I mean, I'm totally blessed and honored, you know, with this MBE, but I want to use it for a purpose. I'm going to keep going. I want to just help as many people as I can. I mean, as long as I can, as long as I have this energy and I'm able to. Um, Even if like my seniors workouts and the world changes, I still feel it's going to benefit some people, and they all come on Zoom and we have a chat afterwards. And it's just that beautiful feeling for me where, you know, they give me a little bit of feedback. And I think what I want to leave is that exercise doesn't have to cost anything. It can be very easy. Hopefully my workouts will be somewhere in this lovely world of social media, so they can always use them on Instagram or on YouTube or Facebook. I kind of stream on as many channels as I can to try and get it out there. And, you know, I do a lot of writing, so I do articles and I try and get it on paper so people have got a reference point and they understand why exercise and movement are so powerful. To be honest, it's a hard question because my path is just changing. Even now, you know, new opportunities are coming in, and I'm just embracing that I never ever imagined I'd be on. I never thought I'd be doing what I'm doing right now. If you asked me 3 years ago, I was just, you know, in the evenings just reading up on why this is doing it for me. So I guess I will just go with the flow, and I hope people just remember me for hopefully helping them feel good, but not just on the physical level, but also on the mental level.
oh, that was it. That was it. That was beautiful, and that's exactly what it is. Feeling, emotion, mental health, physical. That is just everything. And that wraps up our show today. But thank you so much for coming on the show. I want everybody to follow you, so please let us know your socials because everybody needs to follow you. Because even though it's not really about that all the time, but the more we can spread the messaging of what you're trying to do, the better the world will be. So where do we follow you?
Well, thank you so much, Marvin. You can follow me. I'm on at Feel Good on mainly on Instagram, but on everything Facebook. I'm also on LinkedIn under Lavina Mehta MBE, Twitter, Facebook. What am I missing? Give me all the socials. Feel
No, I
good.
think Your website?
Yes, my website's feelgoodwithlavina.com. So
Awesome.
yay, thank you so much for having me. I mean, it's been a real honor, and I'm really touched with your words. We're going to have to meet up and do a session
Oh,
together with our double energy. It'll be amazing.
100%. Oh, 100%. We will definitely do that. Thank you so much, Lavina, and we will see you very soon.
Thanks, Marvin. Thanks so much.